Hello again, everyone. And yes, we are color coordinated. And welcome again to another episode of Wish You Were Beer, a weekly live beer review show.
Very professional.
I know. You think by now we'd have the timing of when that ends, but typically we're talking, so
21 episodes in, and here we are.
Well, once we hit that 100 mark, we'll really have figured this shit out. But welcome again, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. If you do me a favor, if you're logged into YouTube, you can actually comment along with us over on the side of the screen. So you can chat with us, tell us what beer you're having if you didn't get the beer that we're having tonight. You can make fun of me. That's it. Can't make fun of anybody else, but I can handle it. Also, if you could go down to the page and give us a like, subscribe. That's obviously big in this world. And
apparently.
Yeah, apparently it's all the rage with the tweens. If you could also,
I've not heard the word tween in a long time.
Also, it's a beer show. I really hope that.
I'm just talking about the liking and subscribing is big in the tween.
The tweens.
It's called the tween world. Yes. But anyway, if you could also follow us on Instagram, Tiffany and Phil have been doing a great job on keeping up on the Instagram and trying to post some beer when we're having beer out different places or posting the show beers as well. So make sure you check in on that. Last week, I just wanted to touch on this real quick. We did a beer from Young Veterans, and they actually reached back out to us like the day after the show.
Yeah.
And they were really cool about it. They're like, "Oh, sorry, we totally didn't get this email in time, or we weren't paying attention." One of their owners and brewers actually gave us show notes. He watched that entire episode and sent us an email, right, basically just redacting everything we got wrong and changing things that we were close on and not.
Which
it was fantastic.
I loved it. I was like, this is why we invite the breweries on, because I don't get paid to drink beer. I drink beer when I am done.
Yeah. Getting great.
So it's kind of like a hobby. I am not the expert. I will tell you what I think it is, and 9 times out of 10, I'm wrong.
But I think the nice part is that he really spent the time to follow up on it.
Yep.
So that being said, they're relatively local for Tiffany and I. So I think we are going to catch up with him in the next month or so and actually go shoot some footage with him and actually interview him, hopefully on site and at the brewery with him, which would be a ton of fun. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled with that. We are trying to kind of clip down some of our regular shows and add snippets from the actual brewers or owners that we do have on. And obviously we're always trying to post some extra stuff in between. So make sure you subscribe so you can follow along with it, check in on us, and make sure you follow us on Untappd. That's probably the best way to check in on us and know exactly where we are, because that's where we spend most of our time, is at breweries or drinking beer.
Nope.
Nope. So all our individual Untappd handles are at the bottom, as well as the show Untappd. Also, check out Beer Drop, Tab War. We use both of those.
This is our first Beer Drop one from the recent drop.
Yeah. This is our first Beer Drop beer from this drop.
So the next 4 after this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you click that link down at the bottom for Beer Drop, you can get beer delivered to your house. You can get the same beers that we're ordering, and you can also get $10 off your first order. Yes. And we also get $10 off an order, which I drink a lot of beer. $10 is $10.
It's like one beer. It's fantastic.
You are not kidding. Yeah, these $8 beers are killing me, man.
Yeah. We're all excited about craft beers, and then I'm like, I'll take that $2 Coors, please.
Yeah.
Every now and then.
I will say that even though we drank multiple beers during our July 4th episode, it was the cheapest episode, I think, to date, or at least on par.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was the same, but I had 5 beers.
Right, yeah. Instead of 1 beer. Well, that being said, welcome again. I am Daniel. As always, this is Tiffany, the beautiful bearded young man there in, I assume, some weird mountain cabin. Is Phil?
Perfect.
Where are you?
I am in a mountain cabin. I'm in Big Bear, California right now. I know.
That's trivia. I win.
How could you tell? Is it the wooded background, the fact that I sound like I'm in an attic, or the vintage record player? Which one was it?
Actually, it was just the beard. I assume you were in a mountain.
I just live in a mountain.
Yeah, I was looking for some flannel, but it's summer. That's fine.
Yeah, it's very hot.
So wait, so I know you're in a cabin. Where are you? Where are you?
Big Bear, California.
Did you say that? I missed that. I apologize.
No worries. No, I was before this. Oh, where was I? I was in Utah. I was at a place called Under Canvas, and it was basically it's Under Canvas is like this community where they just have a bunch of tents. It's kind of glamping, but not fully. Like there's no air conditioning. But but it's like basically like going to like an adult camp in a sense. They've got like a community area where like everyone has dinners, and they've got everyone has their own individual tents, but you're all like together. So it's kind of this like really cool experience out in the middle of the desert. So the nighttime was awesome. Stars were crazy. Our tent had a clear top to it, so that we could just look up while we were sleeping.
Nice.
So it's cool.
Well, you can't look up while you're sleeping because your eyes are closed, but I get the idea of what you're going for. So it's kind of like Burning Man minus the drugs and music. Oh,
there were drugs. But
you held that out.
But Tylenol.
You're okay.
The old person drugs.
Tylenol.
Yeah, Tylenol, a little Aleve.
Sleeping on some rocks.
Put some oil in and grease these joints.
Yeah. Different kind of drugs.
I don't know what pants you have on, but
I don't.
Marilee wanted to know if you could stand up without hitting the ceiling.
Oh no, and I've hit my head numerous times already.
Already hitting it.
Yeah. Well, there's not many places that I could do it here, and I wanted to give some sort of cabiny vibe, so I'm up in this like attic area where there's these little kids' seats. I'm basically in a child's room at the moment. So
one of your favorite places to hang out.
That's not a no.
No? I mean, Daniel.
So how far out are you from your final destination on this trip?
This is about 2.5 hours outside of LA. Okay. So that's where we'll be finishing, but we're here through this weekend, and then final destination.
Nice.
Is a great movie.
Right,
but we'll be.
That's the one with the logs and the car. And I can't hear that term and then not think about all the like terrible ways these people are killed after they escape death.
And then you start thinking of Devon Sawa, and then you start thinking about Casper, and then you start, you go. We can talk about Casper.
You start thinking about Devon Sawa, there's a different reaction, especially prime Devon Sawa.
Pretty much every day for me, I'm thinking about Devon Sawa. Let's be honest. Let's just say I too have idle hands when I think about Devon Sawa. So.
As soon as you mention Devon Sawa, no one has idle hands. Oh, I love it. So cool. So you're almost done on your trip then. That's great.
Almost, yeah.
You ready to be there, in all honesty?
Los Angeles, no. Never. No one's ever ready to be in Los Angeles. No one ever wants to be. No. But I'm ready to be like settled down and figure out what the hell is going on next in life. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, good deal, man.
And I get to do the show at 5 p.m. And what better time to do a show than 5 p.m. when you get to start drinking beers at Thursday at 5 o'clock.
You will just be catching up to us. I mean, if I'm off work at 5 o'clock, I'm already a beer in.
That's true. I've seen your Untappd.
Don't judge me.
I never would.
Oh, also today is we're doing a Pilsner. But today is National IPA Day. So if you do have an IPA, make sure you check it in on Untappd. There's a very fun little badge for IPA Day 2021.
Yes. So, however, even though we're not drinking an IPA, tomorrow is International Beer Day.
Perfect.
And a Pilsner is a relatively traditional style of beer. So
Correct.
We are celebrating tomorrow's holiday a day early.
Correct.
Because we all wish it was Friday.
I'm fair. Okay, I see what you did there. Yeah,
well done.
I can handle that.
Got to bring it all around.
Yeah, bring it around.
Yep.
Tell the story.
That being said, what the hell are we drinking?
We are drinking.
Who can say it correctly?
Tiffany can.
Bierstadt Lagerhaus.
No. No.
I figured if I just went fast enough and I was really confident, maybe it would work out. I got the beer and the Lagerhaus part.
Correct.
Yep. Slow pour pills from Bierstadt Lagerhaus.
Ah, boy. I don't know who doubted a
blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy being able to say something in German. Yeah.
Like, should I? Then go, Phil. Never lets me down.
That's what I said. I just said it faster and a little bit less confidence.
So
I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one because I did watch the video that you sent us of them pouring the beer and like some of the idea behind a slow pour Pilsner.
Yep.
Which made me extremely nervous because if you watch the show with any regularity, I let Tiffany pour the beer because I am terrible at it. And now I find out I got to pour it over the course or like wait like 7 minutes.
But on the plus side, this beer is supposed to be poured poorly. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
It's actually probably how you normally pour beer is how you're actually supposed to do it.
I'm so ahead of my time.
You knew the show was coming up.
Jeez.
All right. Well, why don't we go into history and facts?
I knew it was coming. I had it ready.
Thank you. So
also, real quick, this is their insignia that we did not pull up.
We're getting there.
Okay.
Okay. So
how does Daniel control anything on the show? What are you doing touching anything?
I just found out I could. You guys have gone terribly wrong here.
This is why we didn't let him have.
I just 21
Instagram.
episodes. I'm like, I can pull this picture up that you just loaded. Okay,
and I just changed the next one too, but
I know
we're not there yet.
God damn it! Go.
Jeez.
So this is the portion of the show where we get to play a little bit of beer trivia. I, in theory, have time during the week to do the research. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But it's always a good time.
All things the audience wants to hear.
Yeah,
correct.
Sometimes I try on this show, and sometimes I just do nothing.
I mean,
but thank you for watching every week.
Really giving it our 100 here.
There's no. This is episode 21.
No, I'm giving it 100, like the kids say.
We're not going to be any better by episode 100.
No, you watch yourself.
And also, if anyone wants to keep a tab on how many times I hit my head on this throughout the episode.
I was going to say, because I think I've seen it happen at least twice.
And once I start drinking, it's only going to be worse. So
good. Well, anyway, this is the portion of the show where we do some fun facts and trivia about the brewery, the beer, sometimes extra things like last week was Mean Girls trivia. So, I like to...
We keep it relevant.
Yeah.
And,
like early 2000s, relevant.
That's basically where my mind will always be. So anyway, why don't we roll into trivia? Because the first question has to do with the slow pour.
Cool.
Would you like me to do that, Phil?
Oh, I thought you were. I thought you were taking over the show.
Now I got to get all the answers right and be in charge. God.
So for those of you who have been listening, this has already been answered. But true or false, a slow pour beer, which is typically a Pilsner, can take up to 7 minutes to pour, but it can drastically change the flavor of the more simple beer. So like Pilsners are kind of like, they call them the crispy boys because they're just a clean, refreshing, crisp, but there's not really a whole lot of like depth to their flavor. So true or false, the slow pour changes that.
I feel like I nailed this one because I accidentally answered it and I apologize. I didn't realize that was some trivia and that is true.
It's because he cheats.
No, I did not. I watched the video y'all sent. I actually paid attention this week.
I'm surprised because usually I can at least get you on something that you should have known.
I know.
But yes, it is true. So the slow pour does typically take between 5 and 7 minutes, just depending on like your style, so to speak, and just the amount of foam that it creates. But it really does change the flavor in a bunch of different ways. So I have my notes over here, so I'm going to pivot.
Look at you, Michael.
Pivot.
I was going more the Ross thing.
Right.
That's fine.
Keeping things relevant still.
Yeah.
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
Even 90s, bringing it back. But yeah, so the slow pour one, it actually warms the beer up a little bit, which changes the flavor with most beers. Some are better than others warm. So it's served at like kind of more of a room temperature versus an ice cold. And then second, by slowing down the process, the foam sits for a couple minutes between each one of the like top offs. And so it dries and makes it kind of more of a structured, stable beer. And it brings out different notes. It's kind of more of like a complex flavor than you would usually have just straight out of the can. cold.
Especially for a Pilsner. I mean,
Right,
like you
right.
said, this is kind of like a...
It is a summer beer
Yeah.
in my mind of just like, what do I want that's like usually really low ABV and just refreshing.
Like a Sundays for the boys type beer.
Yeah. Okay.
I hear these beers are getting more popular, this slow pour idea, which has to be just super frustrating for bartenders everywhere.
Well,
I was going to say...
Well, the nitro is always
the
like
nitro is
The
another...
nitro, now they've got to like pour it and then like walk away, come back, pour it again, walk away. Like,
well, in
God,
theory,
terrible idea.
in
I'll have
theory,
6.
with the people like being able to sit at the bars again, which I know we're digressing from currently. However, in the future, at some point in time, we'll have bar seating, and then it'd be a good time to, either fill another order or like interact with your customers. So,
But I'd be the jackass when they pour the beer. I'm sitting at the bar, they pour it like half full, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's how that beer comes, and it'd be done by the time they come back to pour the rest of it.
No one would leave the glass with you until they were done.
Yes, they would.
Well,
They know me. Next question.
no, this is the how-to.
Oh,
So, because this is going to take a while, we usually end up drinking the beer a little bit later after trivia.
Yeah.
However, in whatever, keep time in mind. Wow.
Since we know it's going to take us 5 to 7 minutes to pour this thing, let's start now.
Also, Pilsner glasses look kind of like this. They're usually taller. Whatever this little dent is. You can open it, yeah. But anyway, so if you have a taller glass, that's usually ideal for a Pilsner. You don't, your standard, what is the pint glass? That's like kind of the, if you have nothing else, that's always a go-to. So you're both supposed to basically keep the glass upright, whereas usually you tilt it right, and you're just supposed to pour straight into the glass, and you let it foam up. I'm not going to fill it all the way because I don't want to spill on my carpet. But then you just let it sit.
So wrong.
Right.
Yeah,
then you just let it sit for a while.
It's everything you're not supposed to do normally.
I know.
This would be me as a bartender with every beer. I'd be like, here.
You'd be like, this is a slow pour IPA.
This is a slow pour coffee stout.
I mean, I look like I poured 0 beer in this glass.
Right. Especially because I'm using a shorter, like rounder glass, so it is literally like an ounce of beer, I feel like, at the bottom of it.
It's like a pea sample.
Right.
Okay. So we let that sit for a bit, right? So let's do the next trivia question. We'll let that sit.
Question. Also, you can slow pour anything. So for those of you who have a different beer that isn't this one, try it out.
You know what I'd be interested in doing is taking a beer that I've had with some regularity, regardless of style, and trying a slow pour on it, and seeing if it actually changes the flavor of that beer versus like a Pilsner. Like if you did this with an IPA, would it really change the notes that much, or is it kind of specific to a Pilsner for a reason? I don't know the answer. I'm really just throwing questions out.
That's fine. I don't have an answer.
I always kind of wonder if these things are kind of more gimmicky concepts than reality concepts.
Maybe,
it's going to change it. Can the average person actually taste the difference?
I don't know. I drink a lot of Pilsners, so we're about to find out.
We are.
Yeah.
All right. This is also a question that has been shown and or talked about. So what is the motto of the Bierstadt Lagerhaus? Did I get it right?
Well done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Nailed it. They're changing their name currently.
I just found out I'm pronouncing my last name wrong.
I know.
But anyway, so A, drink more beer, stretchy pants are in.
I want it to
B, no flair, no twist, no added things, just tradition. C, clean beer is good beer, drink tradition. D, the Germans at least got one thing right, beer.
I want it to be D more than ever.
E, no mess, no fuss, just the basics.
No cussing, no fussing. I mean,
Progressive, also one of our sponsors.
Yes. I did reach out to the brewery, so I know it's B. Sorry.
You're on top of trivia this week. I'm really proud of you.
I know it was B as well due to looking at their website earlier.
Yeah. Vero also knew it was B because I assumed Tiffany emailed her all the answers just to ruin my life. All right.
That's not what happened.
No, I like the slogan. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, the reason they came up with this was their whole like reason for existing, especially in the States, is to create that very traditional German beer style, which is, you know, classic, trying to only use 4 ingredients, which is beer, water, yeast, malt. Hold on.
No.
So it's water, malt, hops, yeast. Yeah, okay, there's 4. I read it and I counted 5, and then I was like, well, hold on, I'm wrong. But no, there is 4.
So they're all just about making beer the way it was originally kind of supposed to be just made. It's just simple. They keep it clean.
Yeah,
I like it.
I mean, the regular German beers, like it's almost like not illegal, but it's like frowned upon to use anything different, like than the original ingredients, than that.
Yeah.
Like multiple 100-year-old recipe.
Right.
Which is cool in its own right. I had a Advent beer calendar a couple years ago that was all German beers made in that vein of only used like these ingredients plus one.
Or Costco.
Yeah, it was. That was killer.
We need to try and find that one again. All right. So by now
I'm going back to this because I think
your beer should be ready for another whatever.
I hope so.
So you pour a second stream of beer once again kind of into the middle until the foam reaches the top. And then you know, if you're not done with
shit.
Phil, just to the top.
I got excited.
I'm not filling it all the way.
Phil, I'm terrible at this and I nailed it.
No, this is because it's how you pour beers.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know what though? I will say I think that if they're watching, that was a proper pour because that's how they had it in their Facebook video. It all came pouring over. So
I'm for this.
You know, the security deposit's gone on this Airbnb, but
yeah, good luck.
You know.
All over that record player.
You want to hear what's on the record?
I would like to. Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes. It's not vulgar, is it, Phil? We're on a show.
No. It's they have a lot of old records here, so I'm going to play the one that I found that's very old. That's all I'm allowed to play, or else we're going to get sued.
I love that on vinyl in this Airbnb. Nothing makes me happier than that.
I'm like digging through it, and I'm like, Lionel Richie, Santa's best songs. And then it's like Megan Thee Stallion. I was like, perfect.
Hey, man, they're connoisseurs.
Yeah.
Wide array of music choices.
All right, so we're on our second pour, which means we're pretty much almost
done.
Yeah. I think I have like a hair left as well.
Yeah. So next one, and this is this is actually a question we had in one of our first shows.
Yeah.
And I didn't pronounce it correctly then, and I'm probably not going to pronounce it correctly now because I didn't Google how to pronounce this.
Okay, that word.
The Reinheit.
No, already wrong.
Skibat.
Way off.
Reinheitsgebot.
God, that was terrible.
I don't know.
Literally purity order.
But my ancestors are so mad at me right now, and that's fine. It's fine. Okay, so it is a series of regulations limiting the ingredients in beer in Germany and the states of the former Holy Roman Empire. So it's basically creating legal rights of how you need to brew beer. And it dates back to the Holy Roman Empire. I feel like I read that really terribly. So,
and it is true.
Yes.
I'm going with true as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like, no, I remember we talked about this, like you said, in one of the original ones.
Yep.
But again, I think that Advent calendar really
helped
you. There was a lot of information on that. It's got a whole, like.
You learned more than that than you did homeschooling. You know?
So, this is according to a 1516 Bavarian law that the only ingredients that could be used in beer were water, barley, and hops. And they actually forgot that yeast was a thing because at the time they were naturally fermenting things. So now it's 4 ingredients and yeast is that 4th one.
Nice.
So basically they're making sourdough beer by naturally harvesting yeast out of the air.
I like it.
Yeah.
Sounds delicious.
They were pre-pandemic.
All right.
So your beer should be
slow boiled and full.
And still sitting there. Are we drinking it already or while we keep going with trivia?
I guess keep going through trivia as we drink.
Sure. Are we allowed to drink it now? Has it been 5 to 7 minutes? I haven't been.
I feel like it has been, yeah.
It's been pretty close.
All right. Well, let's drink it. We'll think about our review while we keep doing trivia.
All right. So What is their flagship beer? I'm just gonna keep saying they. It's fine. A Helles Lager. B, Pilsner, like the slow pour. C, a Dunkel's Lager, or D, a Kolsch.
I mean, it's got to be the slow pour Pilsner. What the hell?
I'm going to go with that or the Hell's Lager.
What are we doing here? If it's not this beer.
Well, they don't can many of their beers. From what I read, this is like their first time canning beers. So I don't know whether or not, I never know if because this might not be their flagship, so they had a lot of extra. So they sold it to Beer Drop to sell.
Okay.
Because maybe their Hell's Lager is their number one, and that was easy to sell, so they didn't give that to Beer Drop.
Okay.
That's I'm thinking.
I see your reasoning.
Or they're like, this is so good, it is our flagship. Right. If we're not distributing this, we're doing something wrong. Screw the locals, they've already tried it.
I love when a brewery says, screw the locals.
Screw those people.
Yeah.
Especially the brewery that has never canned their beers, so they're only getting locals.
Right.
Screw these guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say A just for the.
So I think we have so far we have everything but a Dunkel's Lager. So I'm going to be. Tiffany, do you have an answer for it?
I do.
Oh, okay.
you sound like you left on a note.
That's it.
Like I'm going with B.
You always end
maybe.
I don't
in
know.
Entertainment, never down.
Okay. Yes, it is B. It is the slow pour pills.
I have not missed a fucking question.
In 2 episodes.
Thank you.
So they said, well, he missed a lot of the Mean Girls trivia.
Well, I mean,
Says the man who's like, I love Mean Girls. It's a great movie. It is a good movie. However, you sucked at the trivia.
Fair.
But anyway, so they said it's imminently crushable and refreshing, going down smooth while lingering dryness and soft bitterness dance on your palate.
I love when people explain beer so much differently and better than I do.
Yeah. Once again, not a professional.
Yeah.
Maybe one day someone will pay me to try beers. But all right. I think this is our last one. So true or false, the brewery was literally packed up and shipped from the German countryside prior to their opening.
You mean like they packed up like the materials and stuff? And...
Yeah, they literally packed up everything that was in a brewery and moved it to Colorado. I think that's what they
So I'm going to say this is true. And the reason that I'm going to say this is because I feel like their name is so German heavy that it wasn't just we're a big fan of this. This name has to have come from something.
Right.
So I'm assuming it was either the name of the brewery over there and they brought it over. So I'm going to go with true.
Fair. I am also going to go with true. And I'm just going to answer Kenny here and just say I personally love Coors Light, but what are you going to do? Sometimes I'm drinking Coors Light.
Yeah, I have nothing against Coors Light. It is what it is supposed to be.
Correct. It's straight from the Rockies.
Yeah. It has a purpose, and it fulfills that purpose very well.
This is very true.
College.
Or Sunday for me, football. I drink a lot of Coors Light during football season.
If I'm going to sit around and drink 15 beers, Coors Light. Perfect.
Right, which is why I drink so much of it. Because what else are you going to do every night of the week?
That point.
I drink so much water.
There is so much water in it. That's why.
All right. It is true. So hold on. Let me pivot over here to my notes again. So they were originally working for a different brewery, and they ended up parting ways with that brewery. And so they were like, all right, we have all this talent. What are we going to do? So they went to Germany for a week-long campaign in April of 2014, trying to find a piece that would be the cornerstone for this lager house they're creating. So they traveled for the whole week through the German countryside, looking for different breweries and sampling some of their really good lagers, trying to kind of get where they wanted to go for the future. And they set their sights on a 1932 brew house in the quaint Bavarian village of Ammendorf. And local legend has it that a Nazi soldier took his own life in the brewery during the war.
Jackpot. And they don't have a Nazi killer beer?
Oh, yeah, right.
So, anyway.
I love that beer can.
All of their equipment was packed up and shipped to their current location.
Very cool.
On like I'm assuming a boat or something. I don't know.
Well, it came from Germany, so it's
Yeah.
a boat or a plane.
Hold on, I have more.
That's really it.
So this is why they only make like 3 beers or whatever, right? It's like 3 or 4 that they have.
Yeah, I think they're a relatively small setup. I mean,
It's either that or they just make 4 beers and make them really well.
I think I have this too.
You know what I mean?
But I'm wondering if they only use this equipment, if they probably can't make a huge variety of beers as well.
So
it's like,
they hold 2 traditional brewing techniques that includes using an 84-foot brew kettle from Germany.
Cool.
So
awesome.
that's what they're using. This is really good.
Yeah, actually, by the way, this is phenomenal.
Hey. What are you doing?
What?
You don't start talking about the beer while we're still in history and facts.
My bad.
I'm sorry.
Some
I'm
girls
sorry.
try too hard. No, but this is it is phenomenal. This
is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's way better than I thought it was going to be.
It has like so much more like complexity than like a standard.
Like I'm let's not kid ourselves. I love beer and I drink a shit ton of it, but like my palate is not refined to the extent where I'm going to tell you what's in a beer based off of the notes of it. This is 100% different than a regular Pilsner though.
Yeah.
Like in every sense.
What do you mean by when you say different? What makes it different to you?
So there is a higher level of complexity in it. So you get different flavors on the front than on the back of it. Again, I'm not going to be able to place any of them. It's never been my thing. I do think it's a bit almost sweeter, especially now that I've had a little bit more of it. Like it's continued to get a little bit sweeter as I drink half of it now. Well, you know,
would you say that based on them and this brewery's concept and of making something that's original, making something that's clean and simple and exactly how beer is supposed to be made, do you think that this is actually what a Pilsner should taste like, and the ones you have had are not exactly Pilsners?
Correct. I would agree 100% with that.
Yeah, the slow pour is a more traditional method. I have not researched this. I should have.
Once again, things that our audience does not need to know.
I'm with you.
I will admit defeat when I have been defeated because I don't want someone to tell me that I was wrong after the fact.
Oh, I don't care. I just don't listen to people. That's the secret.
Right.
You were wrong after that. I don't know you.
No qualms with telling you that I'm not sure I'll get back to you.
Fair. But I agree 100%. I think this is probably an accurate Pilsner, like in the idea or in the vein of this is how it was supposed to be made. And then sure, you had a lot of people that took that down and changed it or stripped it and did different things with it that have become more prevalent. But this is way better.
This is,
yeah.
This is so good.
So one of the links that are below, it goes into like why a slow pour is different and why it'll change your life and like all this sort of stuff. And I read through it briefly today, and like having now drank this, I'd say it's pretty accurate because this one, like I can still taste it. There's like a lingering flavor profile that I don't usually get with a typical like straight from the can, like cold Pilsner.
Right.
So there's just depth to it.
Right. And I think that's when they get into the complexity of flavor.
Right.
Like it's more complex than just I'm having a beer to have a beer and I don't even taste it.
Did you already put up the Barrows?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So it's
You were
slightly
researching.
malty. Yeah, I'm sorry. I actually looked up is it traditional, and then I realized I didn't really have the patience and time to read what I just pulled up on Google. So I'll read that later. I was like, I could do 2 things at once, and I was like, no, I cannot. No, I cannot. And I should know better.
So I think from a review standpoint, and again, in the vein of my review of things is always going to be a Pilsner versus a Pilsner.
Yep.
So to speak.
Just because it's a higher score doesn't mean that it's better than you like it more than a beer that with a less score, sort of.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Pilsner to Pilsner, though, this is a 4.5er any day of the week. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
I had that exact score in my head. So,
Me too.
Well,
Wow.
Me three.
4.5.
wow, that makes. Have we ever all scored a beer the same?
Don't think so.
I don't think we have.
Well, maybe the sour Warhead beers. I think we were pretty
Oh,
much the same on those.
No,
Yeah.
those ones we were all over the place, but it was all under one.
I think we've been drinking enough. There was some fractions in there, but still.
I think this is our highest scoring beer though after 21 episodes.
Yeah.
Because we've had a 4.25. This is our highest.
Fair.
But once again, like a Pilsner it's a really good beer anyway. I mean, it's a relatively like classic basic beer. But because this one has like kind of more to it, it deserves a high score. So
yeah.
Well done, brewery I can't pronounce.
Oh my gosh, it's not that difficult.
Well, so this is the part of the show where we normally go into Untappd because people, especially brewers, love Untappd. It's their favorite.
I love every brewer we've reached out to is like, oh, but the Untappd thing. Can we leave before y'all rate it?
Right.
Yeah. Which is fair. Because we've already admitted we don't really know what we're talking about when it comes down to it. So,
right.
But I like to go through to see kind of, it's fun to go through Untappd to see kind of what other people think because it does, like it makes sense. Like maybe we all don't know what we're talking about, but in general audiences, we should see. Most people on Untappd are obsessed with this beer. So it got me excited to drink it because of that. So most of the things that I've hit that I found on Untappd when we go through it is talking about how great it is. I don't know if this one is, but
yeah.
So better on draft. I can see that. I mean, every time beers are always better on draft.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But this selfish asshole has had it on draft and from the can, so humble brag.
I just chose this one for the picture. I don't even know why the picture is there.
That is the greatest. I didn't even read there's German in the.
I don't know how they got a
thing,
picture of me from middle school.
No. I love it.
Middle school was a good time, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
And I also want to talk about how awesome their glass is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Apparently, if you have their beer on draft, you have to have their glasses, which is apparently one of their rules, which I think is cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love their like 1920s Art Deco like labeling as well. I think that's really fun, especially because knowing that all of their brewery like equipment is all that old as well. Like it's somewhat the same, but.
Tiffany, I think you have to change your Untappd photo to this one.
However, actually, if that is a person that this person knows or that person in the past, tell me that is not Maya Rudolph's like a little bit heavier cousin. Like I thought it was Maya Rudolph. I was like, damn, she was funny then too.
She was on Untappd. And then this person just says, what does it say? I can die.
Okay, now. I can die now.
Yeah, it's great. So I did not talk about can design, and you guys know I love talking about can design.
I know. It's your jam.
I don't even need to talk about it. It's just fantastic. It's so well done. It's just, I remember, Tiffany, you and I were going through picking the beer drop beers, and you picked out this one. Yeah. And I just remember looking at the can, and I went, yeah, of course. Yeah. But your big thing was the slow pour aspect.
Right. I was like, I don't know what the slow pour thing is, but I think we should try this because it sounds unusual.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So why Phil drinks his beer. This is the part of the show where typically we take an opportunity to talk about something from the week, from the month, from my childhood, anything.
Mostly your childhood. This is actually therapy for Daniel.
Yeah, exactly. Where we just take an opportunity to talk about something that's on our mind or on the news or off topic completely, whatever we want, that we wish was beer instead of what it actually is. And this is one of my favorite parts of the show, mainly because we get on this studio about 5 to 10 minutes before the show starts. And usually about 30 seconds before we go live, everyone goes, hey, did you do and Phil goes, No, I'll do that now. And then like it cuts off and it like starts the countdown. So, Phil.
But it's not because I don't think about it. I think about it too much. I get too many ideas, and then I can't remember any of them by the time we start the show.
I agree.
Yeah, I need to write them down. But it's usually like I'll be driving or something will happen, and I remember, and then I forget by the time I could write it down.
True story.
Well, speaking of driving, I will go first.
Fair.
All right. So this week, I wish that gasoline was beer. Because as I've gone across the country, the prices have just keep going up, and I do not mind paying $4.30 for a gallon of beer. I'll pay that.
Like, a gallon of that's a lot.
I thought you were saying beer $4.30 for. I was like, for a gallon of gas. No, hold on.
I thought you were talking about a gallon of gas, and I was like, is that what it is now? Like,
no, it is. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
it's
really?
It is $4.30 a gallon in Big Bear, California, and it was coming from like Vegas to here. It was in the fours. I know it's different on the East Coast in Virginia, but out here,
we trade beaver pelt for gas out here.
So if it was beer, great. I'll gladly spend that kind of money on beer.
That's a cheap beer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, a gallon of it. Oh yeah, very cheap.
You could even get Coors Light for that price.
Hey, don't you bash on Coors Light.
Right,
we got a fan watching that loves Coors Light. So,
you don't judge him. No.
So that's my wish you were beer.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'll go second, and I'll change mine since Mary Lee knows a very personal story about myself. Yes. I wish the jammer
More than life. Sorry.
I wish the jammer pants I was wearing in first grade when I peed all the way down the brand new twisted slide at Tucker Caps Elementary were beer, because they could probably hold a lot more liquid than if they were beer than the jammer pants could hold.
Was this the experience that then made you have to get homeschooled?
No, surprisingly not. I just apparently walked to the principal's office with pee all in my pants and was like, I need you to call someone.
This is going to happen a lot. So let's get together here.
I had gotten a great place in the slide line because it was brand new. So there was a line. And there was a very young woman, same age as I am at the time.
First grade. So
who I was fairly attracted to. She was missing both teeth, had a great perm, just gold. And
did she look a little bit like this?
It's so close. Yeah, you're not kidding. But she was behind me in line, so I got to spend the whole time flirting it up, water cooler talk, first grade stuff.
Oh
Ninja
yeah,
Turtles, whatever.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper? No,
not yet. We talked about it later in life. But I got to the top of the slide. I didn't want to have to cut out a line to go pee because I'd lose my spot. So I got to the top of the slide, and I could no longer hold my excitement for this slide / my place in line. And I pissed clean down this slide all the way down. And before I could get to the end of it and go, Mindy, no! Here she comes, right down the slide behind me. It was both exhilarating and embarrassing.
Mindy,
no! And there she was.
Did she also have to go to the office to get her pants checked?
I think she sopped up enough of it, yes, that she also had to go to the principal's office. So yes, that was. Thank you for bringing that up, Mary Lee. I had not heard that portion of my history in a long time.
That's a lie. We actually just talked about
it. I talk about it all the damn time.
All the time.
Hilarious.
It's one of his favorites.
It's why he still can't use slides.
True story. I have never seen you on a slide.
True. Well, I'm 36 years old. So that's normal. Tiffany, what do you got?
Good luck following that.
Sorry,
Mine is
should have gone third.
Much more relevant to life.
Nothing's more relevant than that in Daniel's mind.
Pretty close.
I wish I had a funny childhood trauma to bring up. No, I don't have a funny one.
That's
They're all
just
actually-
normal.
You mean this wasn't traumatic for
Wait.
you?
That was already traumatic enough that this person had a photo of me. No, actually, middle school was way worse for me. That would have been great. No, so my Wish You Were Beer is topically relevant for today. The vaccination rate is not what I thought it was when I finally looked into what our county's vaccination rate was. Considering I'm the only one that's masked when I go into a grocery store, and I was like, oh, everyone here is vaccinated. This is great.
You mean no one's following the sign that says if you're vaccinated, you can just come right in?
I was wrong.
Oh,
Again, I will admit that I was wrong on this one. I was far too optimistic. And I was then doing more research because, there's a lot of people who either can't get vaccinated or they're too young, so 12 and under. And the big first part of the COVID pandemic was very much so kids weren't getting it, and now kids are getting it, and it stresses me out because I did my part, and now I've got to go back into a lockdown-ish thing because I'm trying not to spread it as a vaccinated person because now I know I can spread it. It's just a lot. It's a lot. So anyway, I'm bringing everybody down. I apologize. This isn't a Mindy No situation.
Man,
we should have planned this show better.
Put your mask on.
But anyway, I'm sorry for not going first. However, it's rough.
Fair.
So about that slide, Daniel, let's go more down.
Well, we are at 47 minutes, so here's what's gonna happen.
What are we doing next week?
Yeah, make sure you check us out next week because one, we're doing a farmhouse beer, which is one of my favorites. It's from Woods Boss,
which we reached out to in the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
They sent us stickers and a free beer coupon
for next time we're in town.
Right. And then little did we know the pandemic was going to go for this long. But in theory, we will eventually go visit Woods Boss in person because they invited us.
Correct.
And they've been really cool. They've been talking to us on our social, which everyone should be doing at this point.
Correct.
But
one way to slide into Phil's DMs.
Mark Curry, Flo from Progressive.
Still waiting.
Kia. I'm literally plugging everyone.
Honda Odyssey.
Telluride show. But anyways, the dreams that stuff are made of. It's from Woods Boss. I think this will be our first farmhouse, right? Which, if you guys aren't familiar with farmhouse or saisons, it's my fucking jam.
They are your jam.
Very excited.
Some of them taste like gym socks. And
I
some
love
of them
they're funky
are really
as hell, and
it's whatever yeast strain they use. Some of them are the Brett.
I think we have a clip of it on our YouTube, actually, of the last saison that we had from Bissell Brothers.
It was the pine tips or spruce tips.
It was made with spruce tips,
yes,
and it changed my life.
Yeah,
and I'm a little upset that only 11 people have watched it.
I filmed that, and I was so glad that I did. I was very glad that I filmed that. So you should check that out. Maybe we'll repost it or something on our Instagram.
Well, regardless, make sure you come check us out next week. We should have a guest on next week. We've already been chatting with them and hoping to get some of those guys on. And Phil, do you have anything you'd like to tell everyone to do?
Oh, it's my favorite. I love telling everyone to share, subscribe, tap that like button, and all the other things the tweens say on YouTube. It makes me so happy. All right.
Other than that, thanks everybody for watching and hanging out with us. And I think there's one more clip that I don't think you played this show that I'd like to get in on our way out, if you have a chance of it. It's the song that Vero thought was going to be on the record player somehow that you had queued it up. I
think it's this.
But mine is a friend of mine. Friend of mine is a friend of mine.
God, that's my jam. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Make sure you don't know that song. Check out our July 4th episode.
And also go to wishyouwerebeershow.com. You can contact us if you want us to do a beer, because we're going to get to the end of our list soon, so we're going to start adding more. And I love suggestions. So, and if you want to send us beer like Vero did once, that's even better.
Yes,
Yeah,
we will have you on the show like we had Vero
Maybe
on.
let's get a PO box though, just in case that guy from England wants to send us beer.
Oh, yeah.
Here, here's our PO box.
I will gladly have that guy back on. He'll shave his bald head.
No, wait, that, that was
No, that's the other guy. That was the German guy.
that was the German guy.
But the England guy was the guy that was like big fan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, visit the website. Hang out with us on Instagram. Tell us what beers you want. Guys, this was a great week. That was a good beer. Great beer.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
And Tiffany, I'm going to have to see more pictures of you from middle school. So,
I think that's fair.
Yeah, because that one is just fantastic.